Hello YouTube, Gora Radio Moscow here again with another beer review for you, as is usual. We're going to continue on with this German series of beer reviews, and for those of you who really love the sort of grassroots craft beer, if you like, this is one you'll really like. I was up recently visiting my friend Einar in Mainz, so a big shout out to him, but when I was there we visited one of the big brew pubs there, if you like, and these guys are producing some really excellent stuff. So today we're going to have a look at the Eisgrub-Bräu, we're going to have a look at their Märzen Helles, which is their spring seasonal beer, and the stuff that I tried all of the different beers in this brew pub and they're all beautiful, so I picked this one because it was the seasonal beer. So obviously I might not be back in Germany at the same time, so I thought this was a good one to pick for the review. But as is usual with my beer reviews, I'll just take you through a brief history of the brewery and tell you a little bit about the area of the country that it's from. But as I always say, if you are simply just interested in the tasting of this beer, then feel free to go on towards the latter part of the video and you will catch that particular segment. But anyway, Eisgrub-Bräu comes to you from the city of Mainz, which is actually the capital of the Rhineland-Palatinate state in Germany. Germany, of course, is a federal republic, and it's actually right on the river Rhine, of course, one of the iconic rivers in Germany. And the city has a big beautiful red cathedral right in the middle of it, and a nice big square there. And it was actually quite an important religious centre during the era of the Holy Roman Empire, and even today it actually has a significant Jewish community. And it's very close to the city of Wiesbaden, which is actually the capital of another German state called Hesse, and along with Darmstadt and Frankfurt, these two cities, Wiesbaden and Mainz, make up the Frankfurt-Rhine main region, and this has 5.8 million people in it, not far off 10% of the German population there actually, but Mainz only has a population of about 200,000 I believe. But the brewery itself is actually located in the old town of Mainz, and the building apparently used to be the city's ice cellar or ice cellar, and during the Second World War it was actually used as an air raid shelter, and then for a very short time afterwards it was used as a wine cellar. Now the Eisgrub brewery was founded in 1989 in this listed ice cellar building, but today it is actually a very typical German Brauhaus with a lot of sort of hardwood, you know, teaks and oaks and things like that, and a very old style bar. It's a really cool place to go and visit. But it was also the first brew pub in Mainz, and it actually serves a variety of traditional German food, which is a very common thing with these brew pubs in Germany. But the brewmaster is Burkhard Kuhn, and he decided that the beer should all be left unfiltered to give it a more natural flavour. And you'll notice with all their beers they are all cloudy, which is quite cool, and all the beer is actually brewed on site, and it's allowed to mature for 4 weeks in the brewery cellar at between 4 and 3 degrees Celsius before it goes straight to the taps. And in the brew pub they actually have all the kit on display, so you can see the process of brewing the beer, and apparently they produce 2,000 to 3,000 litres of beer per week, and that seems, when you actually go into this thing, it's a very small building, so I'm surprised they're brewing at that capacity in fact, but I'm not sure, I'm not very good with looking at a volume and telling you exactly how much it is and things like that, so it wouldn't surprise me actually, but I think it's a very small brew pub anyway, so it's quite cool to see that they can produce that amount of volume of beer just with the small premises there. I highly recommend you go and check these guys out. They're doing some really good stuff. If you're ever in Mainz, go and check up the Eisgrub-Bräu. But just to tell you about the other beers they do, in their regular range they have the Mainzer Original, the Weizen, the Dunkel, the Helles, and also the Schwarzbier. And in their seasonal ranges they have the Helles Märzen, the Maibock, the Roggenbier, and apparently this is a speciality grain beer, and they also have the Winterbock. But let's get on to the tasting of this guy itself. Now this guy is the Helles Märzen, which is their spring seasonal beer. It's 4.9% on the Richter scale, if you like, 4.9% ABV alcohol content, and it's a Märzen style beer obviously. And the commercial description that's on the brewery website for this one, and I'll put the link to that in the video description, so check it out if you are interested there. It says, "Our first and unique beer, the Helle Märzen, a composition which is brewed in Eisgrub since 18th of May 1989. Kindly meaty and quaffable lenient. This is the way you can describe this beer. Of course, unfiltered Helle Märzen makes the roof of your mouth taste an aromatic flavour which can be experienced nowhere else but the Eisgrub." And of course the Eisgrub refers to the fact that this was the ice cellar, the name here. But I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little closer look at the label there. From what I can see of it just now, it has one of the Mainz city symbols on it, and it also has a little sort of thing on the building, if you like, and you can see just the crest of it there. I think you can see that fairly well just at that sort of distance there, and you can see Eisgrub, of course, they're referring to the ice cellar there, which is quite cool. And it says here, we're lassen nature in beer. They like putting nature in beer, basically, so you can see that that's the Eisgrub label there, and when you go in they'll fill them up in these litre bottles for you, and all the labels are the same regardless of what beer you get. But let's get this guy open and get on with the tasting here. Quite interested to see what this guy's like, so we'll see how big a bang we get from this one. Not a very big one actually. You can see some smoke coming out on the opening there. This beer is very full. The other big litre bottles I had like this weren't quite so full, so quite good to see that they give you your money's worth, I guess. I think this guy was only like €5 or €6 for a full kind of litre of beer. You can't really complain with that, and especially when you're getting this quality of beer as well. Very typical German head on this guy. So let's just set this down. As you can see, it's a really nice bright golden colour here actually. I thought it would be a little bit darker than this. When you get them in the pub, they actually serve them in these sort of clay steins or ceramic steins, so you can't actually see what the beer looks like, but I thought it would be quite a bit darker than this. You can see a sort of 2-finger white fluffy head. It's not off-white at all, I would say, but it's a really kind of, so it's actually quite a clear one. It does have a slight haze to it, and there's a lot of little bubbles coming up to the top of this one here. It's a really attractive looking beer. I'll just put a little bit more in here and get this up here. The Germans like to have their heads kind of curved out like this. That's apparently the way that beer should be served in Germany. And of course as well, I forgot to mention, this guy is brewed in accordance with the Rhineland-Palatinate. So in terms of the aroma here with this one, it's a very, very grassy smelling beer actually, but you've got a good blend of Bready malts in there that complement that. There's just, I think, maybe just a small bit of brown sugar as well, but it's definitely quite an aromatic and grassy beer, as you would expect from the sort of Märzen style. There's maybe, like I say, just an underlying hint of sort of sweet bready character mixed in with some sort of brown sugar or caramel. It's a really nice and kind of fresh smelling beer. It's actually got quite a nice malty sweetness to it, but at the same time you're getting those nice sort of aromatic and grassy hoppy notes at the end there. So let's give this guy a taste and see how we get on. Just like I remember it actually. Really, really nice beer. It follows the aroma really well, this one. It's opening up with a nice sweet bready malts, and there is just a nice little hint of sweet caramel in there. And a lot of beers, I find the caramel actually is mixed in with a roasted character, but this is a proper sweet caramel. It's not so much dark in any way, I would say. But yeah, it's got a really nice sort of sweet bready malt up front. And then when you get beyond that, you start to get the sort of aromatic and floral character with the grassiness coming out in the hops. It's got a nice little bitter bite after you get past the bready malt base. And it's really smooth as well. This is the thing I remember about this beer. Really beautifully smooth, and this guy's kept well in the bottle. I've had this sitting for about 2 weeks, and usually with these sort of bottles, no more than a month you want to keep these, but this one's kept in really well. It tastes just like it did on tap actually. But yeah, this is a really, really good beer. I really like beers that have that nice kind of bready base in the middle there, and this is what you expect from the Märzen style. The caramel on this one's really well done. As I say, it's quite subtle, and it's a nice sweet caramel rather than a sort of roasted caramel, if you like. And then you're getting the nice floral, sort of floral and aromatic character coming out with a nice little sort of bitter bite, if you like, after this one. Really, really good. And like I say, this is the grassroots of craft beer, if you like, these small German breweries. But yeah, this is a really nice one. On the aftertaste, you're getting that nice sort of bready and caramel malt coming out again at the end, and there's actually a little bit of citrus flavour that comes in with that sort of bitter hop character that you're getting with it, and that sticks into the end of it as well. This little citric flavours actually kind of complement it really well. But yeah, a really beautiful beer actually. In terms of the body for this one, it's got to be a light to mid-bodied one, I would say. And it's actually really quite crisp, and this is one thing that the aromatic character of the hops helps to bring out a little bit more. They sort of complement each other very well, in my opinion. But it's a really crisp beer, very, very fresh, and actually very clean, and it's got that typical German smoothness there. The carbonation is sort of typical German brew pub, not really much of an attack to it at all. Very, very smooth and very well done. This is a really beautiful beer, the Helles Märzen from the Eisgrub. If you get the chance, give it a try. It puts a lot of other sort of German craft beer to shame, in my opinion. This is a really, really good one. Really well done actually. Very refreshing beer, this one. Actually, in honesty, I'm surprised that this one is a spring seasonal rather than a summer seasonal, because if you chill this guy, it would bring out the crispness a little bit more, and it would be an ideal summer beer for the really hot summers, if you like. And here in Heidelberg, we actually get, it's one of the more sunny cities in Germany, so this guy would be ideal for, you know, get a keg of this and sit out in the garden for a day with your friends and stuff. A really, really good beer, this one. And I highly recommend that if you're ever in the Mainz area of Germany, that you go and check out this brewery. And I really like the aromatic and gardeny character for this one that comes out with this beer. A unique one in that sense with the Märzen. I think this is a very, very well done Märzen, a typical German one. So I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. This is actually one of my favourite beers that I've reviewed, in honesty. Over the 150 or so videos that I've done, this guy is one that I would really, really recommend you try. Get yourself over to Germany and try some of the Franconia beer, some of the Bavarian beer, and try, just if you're in Germany, try all the little brew pubs. But thanks again for watching my beer review videos. I hope you've enjoyed this one and found it informative, even if the brewery is a little bit obscure, but hopefully you've kind of got yourself filled in a little bit with it. Check out the brewery website in the video description there. But thanks again for watching, and please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff, and thanks again for your support over these my continued beer review series. Cheers.